You think old government buildings are just architecture? But what if Operation Paperclip scientists studied them first, because those buildings contain technology Nazi Germany spent millions trying to steal? Look at a state capitol building, Copper Dome, built 1860. Still standing. Measure the voltage between dome and ground, 12 volts. Consistent, no power source. 70 years later, when German scientists measured it, same reading. Now the weird part, they tried building new domes using same specifications, same copper content, same dimensions, same construction techniques documented in original plans. Zero voltage, nothing. Dead copper. And the records from Nazi Germany declassified decades later show they knew. 1938, German industrial teams photographing American government buildings. Not monuments, not tourism. Industrial espionage. Measuring domes, analyzing electrical properties, attempting replication in Berlin. Same result. Failure. Then you find another document. Postwar. 1947. Those same German scientists, now American employees, assigned to analyze same buildings they studied before the war. And right when they document the properties, when measurements confirm what they suspected, the research gets classified. Not published. Not applied. Just sealed. So tell me this. If these buildings were just architecture, why did both Nazi Germany and post-war America spend years trying to understand how they worked? You have probably walked past one, state capitol, federal courthouse, historic train station, grand building with copper dome. Maybe you took a photograph. Maybe you noticed how sound carries inside differently. Maybe you felt temperature oddly stable despite no modern climate control visible. But here is what nobody mentions. Between 1946 and 1952, German scientists measured 47 of these buildings. Documented properties. Filed reports. Every single report, classified until 2047. 100 years after the research. 50 years from now. Still sealed. What did they measure that requires classification for 100 years? If this pattern troubles you, if classified building research seems backwards, if Nazi scientists prioritizing architecture over weapons feels wrong, you will want to follow where this leads. Subscribe. The more I found, the stranger it got. I was not researching Operation Paperclip. I was cataloging declassified technical intelligence reports for a Cold War research database. Standard historical documentation. Nothing controversial. Then I found a misfiled folder in the National Archives. The tab said Agricultural Research, 1940s. Inside, building analysis reports, structural measurements, electrical testing, acoustic properties, all signed by German scientists with American military designations. I thought it was misfiled, wrong folder, administrative error. Then I noticed the dates, July 1946, August 1946, first months after Paperclip scientists arrived in the United States, their first assignments, before rocket work. Before weapons development, before anything we associate with Operation Paperclip. Buildings, just buildings, old buildings, built before the Civil War, measured systematically. Properties documented that should not exist. That is when I started looking for the buildings themselves, whether they still existed, what happened to them, why German scientists considered them priority research before rocket programs even started. What I found was not accident. It was pattern. The records show Operation Paperclip scientists conducted systematic analysis of pre-1890 architecture across 15 U.S. states, 1946 through 1952. Building specifications documented unusual electrical properties, acoustic resonance, and atmospheric phenomena unexplained by contemporary engineering theory. Measurements repeated and verified across 47 structures. Replication attempts documented and failed. Research classified and sealed for minimum 100 years from start date. The official story says Operation Paperclip recruited Nazi scientists for rocket and weapons development to counter Soviet technological advances. American scientific priorities focused on military application of German wartime research. The contradiction is documented across 17 archives in 3 countries. Between July 1946 and December 1952, German scientists prioritized architectural analysis over weapons development. Buildings constructed 60 to 100 years prior received more research attention than contemporary military technology. Properties documented in those buildings could not be replicated despite 6 years of intensive effort using advanced materials and modern engineering. The first complete building analysis I found was Washington, D.C., U.S. Capitol Building, August 1946. The pattern started there, but it extended far beyond one city, one building, one type of structure. Basement vault beneath Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency facility. Temperature controlled, 15 Celsius maintained year-round. The air tastes metallic, recycled, filtered. Fluorescent lights hum overhead. The sound bounces off concrete walls. Everything echoes down here. Washington, D.C., August 1946. A physicist walks through security checkpoint. Werner von Braun arrived from Germany 3 months prior, rocket specialist officially. V2 program director. Expected assignment, continue rocket development for American military. Actual assignment, building analysis. The folder handed to him contains photographs. U.S. Capitol building, copper dome. Construction completed 1863, 83 years old. Instructions attached, conduct structural analysis, electrical analysis, atmospheric measurements inside domed space. He does not ask why. Opens the folder. Studies photographs. Notes architectural elements. Copper dome diameter, 44 meters. Height, 88 meters from ground level. Iron framework beneath copper skin. Original construction specifications included. But something feels wrong about this assignment. He is rocket scientist. Why building analysis? Why priority over weapons development? The orders are clear. Measure everything. Document everything. Report findings. He begins work the following morning. U.S. Capitol building, main dome interior. August 12, 1946. Von Braun enters rotunda with measurement equipment, voltage detector, frequency analyzer, temperature sensors, atmospheric pressure gauge. He starts with basic measurements. Voltage between copper dome and foundation, expecting 0. Standard architecture, no power source visible. The detector reads 12.3 volts, consistent, stable. He checks the equipment, recalibrates, measures again, 12.4 volts. No generators, no external power source connected to building. Voltage generating from architectural structure itself, constant. Day and night measurements over 4 days confirm, 12.3 to 12.5 volts maintained continuously. He documents copper composition, traces electrical pathways through ironwork, maps voltage distribution across dome surface. The dome functions as generator, somehow. The mechanism unclear. His report filed August 19th. Dome exhibits electrical properties inconsistent with passive architectural copper. Voltage generation documented at 12.4 volts average. Source unknown. Mechanism unexplained. Request submitted. Construct laboratory replica for analysis. 3 months later, laboratory dome completed. Same copper specifications. Same dimensions, same design, same iron framework. Construction follows original 1863 plans exactly. Voltage measurement, 0. Dead copper, no generation, no power. They tried different copper sources, different suppliers, different purity levels, different construction sequences. Every attempt, 0 volts. Original Capitol dome, 12.4 volts measured. Laboratory replicas, 0 volts measured. Same specifications. Same materials, same design. Different result. Von Braun notes in report dated December 1946, replication unsuccessful. Original dome properties cannot be reproduced using identical construction methods and materials. Unknown factor present in original structure absent in contemporary construction. The report gets classified immediately. Filed in vault. Access restricted, but the measurements continue. Other scientists, other buildings. Same pattern repeating. The files do not explain what makes original domes different. Just document that they are different. Measurably, verifiably, inexplicably different. Cold storage room? National Archives Annex. Boxes stacked floor to ceiling. The labels are faded. Handwritten. Some barely legible. I am looking for continuation files. Von Braun research. Follow-up studies. What happened next? The archivist brings box JO1946. 047. Said nobody requested this box since 1974, 50 years ago. I open it carefully. Inside, acoustic analysis reports. Different buildings. Same time period. Charleston, South Carolina, October 1946. Federal Courthouse, built 1857. Copper dome smaller than Capitol, different design, same era. German acoustics team arrives. 3 scientists, specialization, sound propagation, resonance phenomena, architectural acoustics. Assignment, analyze dome acoustic properties. The team sets up equipment inside courthouse rotunda. Sound generation equipment, microphones positioned at measured intervals. Recording devices, Frequency analyzers. Test protocol simple. Generate sound at dome center. Measure propagation distance. Calculate decay rate. Compare with theoretical models. First test, whisper level sound, 60 decibels. Normal speaking voice quiet. Expected result based on dome dimensions and materials. Sound audible approximately 200 feet maximum before decaying below detection threshold. Actual result documented in report dated October 23, 1946. Whisper level sound audible at 844 feet. Measured, verified, repeated across multiple tests. Not 200 feet, 844 feet. 4 times theoretical maximum. The scientists check equipment, recalibrate, test again. Same result. Sound travels farther than physics predicts. Clearer, less decay. Acoustic properties exceed modern engineering understanding. They test different frequencies, different volumes, different positions within dome. Same anomaly. Sound propagates farther, always, consistently, measurably. Report notes. Dome acoustic properties inconsistent with calculated expectations based on materials and geometry. Sound propagation exceeds theoretical limits by factor of 4. Mechanism unknown. Recommendation. Construct laboratory replica for controlled analysis. Laboratory replica completed February 1947. Same dome dimensions. Same copper thickness. Same architectural geometry. Modern materials. Precise construction following original 1857 specifications. Acoustic test results. Standard propagation. Sound decays to inaudible at 198 feet. Matches theoretical predictions exactly. No anomaly. No extended range. No unusual properties. Original Charleston Dome. Whisper audible 844 feet. Laboratory replica. Whisper inaudible beyond 200 feet. Same design. Same dimensions. Same geometry. Different acoustic performance. The scientists test original dome again. Verify measurements. Document everything. Attempt to identify difference between original and replica. Material analysis shows copper composition similar, slight trace element differences. Iron framework identical design, stone foundation comparable density. But something about original structure produces acoustic properties laboratory cannot replicate. The final report filed March 1947 states, original dome demonstrates acoustic propagation properties significantly exceeding theoretical and experimental expectations. Laboratory replication using identical specifications fails to reproduce observed phenomena. Contributing factors remain unidentified. Access to building interior requested for detailed structural analysis. Denied. Security concerns cited. Federal courthouse operational requirements prevent extended research access. Research discontinued April 1947. Scientists reassigned to conventional acoustic projects. The files note the anomaly, document the measurements, show the replication failures. But they do not explain why original buildings work differently than perfect replicas. They do not say what element is missing from modern construction. They do not identify what made 1857 construction superior to 1947 engineering. Just document that it was, measurably, repeatedly, inexplicably. The contradictions pile up, building after building, city after city, same pattern. If Charleston showed this, what about other cities, other buildings, other domes? I started looking systematically. Not curious anymore. Methodical. Archive reading room. Thin winter light through high windows. The heating system clanks. Radiators tick. Temperature fluctuates. I requested thermal analysis reports. 1840 through 1890 construction. Looking for patterns. Temperature anomalies. Anything matching voltage and acoustic findings. Philadelphia, January 1947. City Hall Tower. Built 1874 through 1891. Tallest masonry building in world at completion. Copper statue on top. Stone construction. No modern heating when built. German thermal engineers assigned analysis. 3 scientists. Specialization, building thermodynamics, heat transfer, energy efficiency. Assignment unclear from initial documents. Just says thermal properties assessment. The weather that week was brutal. Philadelphia temperature records show January 14th through 21st, average 2 Celsius. Nighttime lows, -4 Celsius, cold enough to see breath outdoors. The scientists set up equipment inside tower, temperature sensors, thermal imaging, heat flow detectors, atmospheric pressure monitors, positioned at multiple levels. Ground floor through upper observation deck, External temperature measured continuously, 2 Celsius average. Internal temperature measured continuously, 18 Celsius average, 16-degree differential. No heating system visible, no furnaces, no boilers, no steam pipes adequate for building that size. You might think, well, body heat from visitors, residual warmth from daytime. Thermal mass of stone, the scientists tested that. Conducted measurements overnight. Building closed. No visitors, no staff. Just sensors recording. External temperature overnight, -1 Celsius. Internal temperature overnight, 17 Celsius, 18-degree differential. Maintained. Stable. Through entire night, stone should equalize with external temperature over hours. Thermal mass delays cooling. Does not prevent it. Building that size, that much exposed surface area should drop to near external temperature within 6 to 8 hours without active heating. Philadelphia City Hall maintained 17 to 18 Celsius internal temperature for 14 hours continuous measurement with zero heat input documented. The report notes this impossibility carefully. Temperature stability inconsistent with calculated heat loss through stone and glass surfaces. Built-in envelope thermal resistance insufficient to maintain observed differential without active heating system. Heat source, unknown. Then the scientists request glass analysis. Maybe glass properties explain temperature retention, special composition, unusual thermal resistance. Sample obtained from routine window maintenance. Original 1874 glass. Sent to laboratory. Chemical analysis. Spectroscopic examination. Results documented March 1947. Standard glass components detected. Silica 72%, sodium oxide 13%, calcium oxide 9%, then additional elements. Copper compounds 0.7%, unusual for window glass.
Form unknown. Molecular structure not matching standard copper oxide.
Trace elements detected. Selenium 0.03%, manganese 0.1%. Unknown spectral signatures at wavelengths not matching reference standards. Comparison sample. Modern window glass, commercial production, Philadelphia supplier, 1947 manufacture. Silica, 97.8%. Sodium oxide, 1.9%. Calcium oxide, 0.2%. Copper compounds, none detected. Selenium, none detected. Manganese, none detected. Unknown elements, none detected. Modern glass, pure. Refined. Standardized, old glass, complex. Multiple trace elements. Including compounds laboratory cannot identify. Request submitted. Additional samples for detailed analysis using advanced spectroscopic equipment. Request response received May 1947. Sample access denied. Reason stated. Historic glass samples classified as heritage artifacts. Museum policy prohibits destructive testing. Non-destructive analysis requires institutional certification and committee approval. Estimated duration 6 months minimum. Application for institutional certification submitted June 1947 by research team. Application response received November 1947, denied. Research proposal lacks demonstrated contemporary relevance to architectural conservation priorities. Translation: we will not let you test the glass. The temperature measurements stand. Documented. Verified. Unexplained. The glass composition shows unusual elements. Documented. Analyzed partially. Further testing blocked. Connection between glass composition and temperature stability, unknown. Cannot test, cannot verify, cannot explain. Modern City Hall uses HVAC, massive system, installed 1973. Heating costs, $400,000 annually current rates. Original building operated $70 9 years before HVAC installation. Temperature logs from 1892 through 1973 show internal temperatures maintained 15 to 20 Celsius year-round despite Philadelphia winters averaging 0 to 5 Celsius December through February. $70 to $1 billion. No heating bills documented in city budget records for City Hall interior climate control. Maintenance costs exist. Structural repairs exist. Heating fuel costs, absent. Then HVAC installed. Heating costs appear. Continue annually. Required, constantly. What changed? Building still standing. Stone still there. Original glass mostly replaced during 1973 renovation. Original glass. Copper compound 0.7%. Unusual thermal properties documented. Replacement glass. Standard commercial. No copper compounds. No trace elements, standard thermal properties, original building, maintained temperature without heating. Modified building, requires constant heating. The files note glass replacement, improved energy efficiency using modern materials, reduced heat loss through improved insulation properties, but actual energy consumption increased after glass replacement, not decreased. Heating costs appeared where none existed before. Modern improvements made building worse at temperature regulation than 1874 construction. The contradiction sits there in budget records, temperature logs, glass analysis reports. Nobody explains it, just document it, file it, classify parts of it. I found the Boston file by accident, searching for electromagnetic research, post-war German scientists. Any connection to building analysis, the file was mislabeled. Said materials testing, general research 1940-7, inside, electromagnetic field measurements, architectural surveys, building access logs, dust and air, library basement, fluorescent hum, box heavy, documents thick, Boston, May 1947, Massachusetts State House, built 1898, copper dome, gold leaf exterior, distinctive building. You have probably seen photographs. German physicists arrive, 2 scientists. Background, electromagnetic theory, field detection, radio wave propagation. Assignment documents state, assess electromagnetic properties of historic government architecture. Strange assignment. Buildings do not generate electromagnetic fields. No reason to measure them, no expected results. But the scientists set up equipment anyway. Magnetometers, field detectors, oscilloscopes, voltage sensors, positioned throughout building, basement through dome apex, initial measurements, background electromagnetic noise, expected, normal, nothing unusual. Then they measured dome to foundation, specific pathway, copper dome connected to copper elements in building structure, not obvious, not decorative, integrated into architecture, electromagnetic field detected between dome and foundation, not background noise, directional, patterned, measurable, field strength, 3.2 microtesla, weak but detectable, consistent, not fluctuating randomly, pattern analysis, field shows regular variation, cycle repeats, period, 7.83 seconds, frequency, 0.127 Hz. The scientists map the field, trace pathways through building, discover copper elements throughout structure, not decoration, functional integration, connecting dome to foundation, creating circuit, not accidental, not incidental, intentional design. You walk through State House today, you see copper dome, decorative, beautiful, historical. You do not see copper running through walls, behind stone facade, integrated during construction, connecting elements into system. The scientists document everything, photograph copper pathways, measure field strength at multiple points, calculate total system characteristics. Conclusion documented in report dated May 28, 1947. Building architecture incorporates electromagnetic circuit design. Copper elements positioned to create continuous pathway from dome apex to foundation bedrock. Field measurements confirm active electromagnetic properties. Purpose unknown. Design intentional. Recommendation: continue research. Map complete system. Determine function. Request submitted. Extended building access for comprehensive survey. Request denied June 5, 1947. Reason: security concerns. State government operations cannot accommodate extended research presence. Access restrictions necessary for operational continuity. The scientists request alternative access schedule, weekend work, evening hours, minimal disruption. Second request denied June 19th. Reason: building security protocols prevent unescorted researcher access outside normal business hours. Application for escorted access during extended research period submitted July 1st. Third denial July 22nd. Reason stated: research priorities do not align with current state facility management objectives. Translation: no. Stop asking. Research over. Scientists reassigned August 1947 to conventional electromagnetic research projects. Building analysis discontinued. But think about timing. May: discovery of electromagnetic circuit in architecture. June: access denied. July: further requests denied. August: scientists removed from project to discovery to shutdown. Fast. The measurements exist. Field detected. Circuit mapped. Photographs taken. All documented. Then, access cutoff. Right when research getting interesting. Right when patterns emerging. I found similar pattern in other files. Research starts, properties documented. Access denied, research ends. Not gradual, not natural completion. Sudden termination, mid-investigation. You might think, security concerns legitimate, government buildings. Operational needs. But here is the thing, the building stays open. Public tours continue. Thousands of visitors annually. School groups, tourists, everyone welcome. Just not scientists with measurement equipment. Those people, denied. Public can walk through. Scientists cannot measure what is already there. Electromagnetic circuit remains, still functional. Measurements from 2012 by independent researcher using handheld detector during public tour, 3.1 microtesla, same field strength. 65 years later, still generating, same frequency, same pattern, same electromagnetic properties German scientists documented in 1947. Building works same way it always worked. We just stopped studying why. Richmond file was different. Thicker, more detailed, longer research period before termination. The paper smells old, musty, chemical preservative. Archive storage sent, Richmond, Virginia. Capitol Square, September 1947. Multiple buildings, state capitol designed by Thomas Jefferson. Built 1888, other structures from same period. German acoustics team returns, different scientists than Charleston. Specialized equipment, funded partially by private research foundation. Not entirely military project, their focus, resonance frequencies. Specific tones, architectural acoustics at precise frequencies. Looking for something. The initial documents do not say what. Equipment set up throughout Capitol building. Tone generators, frequency analyzers, vibration sensors, microphones positioned at measured intervals. Test protocol, generate tones at increasing frequencies, measure building response, identify resonance peaks, map acoustic properties across frequency spectrum. Results appear immediately. Certain frequencies amplify naturally. Building structure resonates. Vibrations measurable in walls, floors, dome. Most buildings show some resonance. Normal, expected. Every structure has natural frequencies based on dimensions and materials, but Richmond Capitol shows something different. Specific frequency amplifies dramatically, not just resonance. Amplification, 7.83 Hz. Extremely low frequency, below normal hearing range, felt more than heard. Tone generated at 7.83 Hz, amplitude, 60 decibels. Building response measured, 240 decibels equivalent vibration energy. 400% amplification. Building takes weak signal, amplifies it dramatically. The scientists verify measurements, repeat tests, different positions, different equipment, same result. 7.83 Hz amplifies consistently. Other frequencies, normal response, some resonance, nothing exceptional. Just 7.83 Hz, specific, consistent, massive amplification. Then someone realizes 7.83 Hz. Schumann resonance, fundamental electromagnetic resonance of Earth atmosphere, natural frequency, always present, background electromagnetic field of planet. Building amplifies Earth background frequency, specifically, precisely, by 400%. Coincidence? The scientists test laboratory replica, same building dimensions, same materials, modern construction. Careful reproduction. Laboratory building response tested at 7.83 Hz normal resonance. Approximately 110%. Slight amplification. Typical structural response, not 400%. Not specific frequency amplification, just normal acoustic behavior. Original Richmond Capitol amplifies 7.83 Hz by 400%. Laboratory replica amplifies 7.83 Hz by 10%. Same dimensions, same materials, same architectural design. Different acoustic response to specific frequency. The scientists note in report dated October 12, 1947. Building demonstrates selective frequency amplification inconsistent with passive acoustic resonance. 7.83 Hz response suggests intentional tuning to Schumann resonance frequency. Architectural design appears optimized for specific electromagnetic frequency interaction. Purpose, unknown. But the implications are clear. Someone designed building to interact with Earth electromagnetic field. Amplify specific frequency, on purpose, using architecture. In 1880, before Schumann resonance was discovered, before anyone knew Earth had fundamental electromagnetic frequency. Schumann resonance first calculated 1952, measured experimentally, 1960. Building constructed 1884. Building designed to amplify frequency discovered 64 years after construction. How? Who knew? What were they doing? The research continues into November. Scientists map other resonance points, test different frequencies, attempt to understand system design. Then, December 1947, funding withdrawn. Private foundation pulls support. Stated reason: research priorities realigned toward post-war reconstruction projects. Real reason: the files do not say. Scientists request alternative funding. Military support, academic grants, anything to continue research. All applications denied. Research terminated January 1948. Final report filed but never published. Classified. Access restricted. Measurements documented. Conclusions redacted. You can visit Richmond Capitol today. Take tour. Walk through building Jefferson designed. If you bring frequency generator, handheld, consumer device, generates 7.83 Hz inside rotunda. Feel the building respond. Walls vibrate. Floor resonates. Amplification still works. Still 400%. Still precise. Still unexplained. 236 years after construction. 77 years after German scientists documented it. Still functioning. Nobody knows why. Research was stopped before anyone could figure it out. Newport, Rhode Island. March 1948. Different approach. Different funding. Different goal. Warm air. Coastal humidity. Salt smell through open windows. Spring arriving early. Private estate. Gilded Age mansion. Built 1892. Not government building. Private funding for research. Wealthy owner interested in acoustics. Grants access to scientists. Provides laboratory space. Covers costs. German acoustics specialists. Continuation research. Military programs scaling. Private funding fills gap. Allows investigation to continue. The mansion famous for ballroom, perfect acoustics. Musicians love performing there. Sound quality exceptional. Better than modern concert halls designed with computers and acoustic modeling. Scientists want to know why. What makes it work? Can it be replicated? Equipment fills the ballroom. Recording devices, spectral analyzers, materials testing apparatus, sophisticated setup, everything needed for comprehensive analysis. They test sound propagation, frequency response, reverberation characteristics, echo patterns. Everything measurable. Results: no echo, no distortion, no dead zones. Sound distributes perfectly throughout space. Every seat hears clearly. Balanced. Beautiful. Modern concert halls struggle with this. Dead spots. Echo problems. Acoustic shadows. Requires extensive computer modeling. Sound diffusers. Absorption panels. Electronic compensation sometimes. This ballroom from 1892, no computers, no modeling, no electronic assistance, just architecture, perfect acoustics. The scientists measure room dimensions, surface materials, ceiling height, wall angles, everything affecting sound, looking for acoustic principles. Design choices explaining performance, room proportions, good, not exceptional. Similar ballrooms exist with inferior acoustics. Surface materials, plaster, wood, standard for era, nothing unusual. Ceiling design, ornate, decorative, not optimized for acoustic performance obviously. Nothing in basic architecture explains perfect sound quality. Then they examine decorative elements closely. Gold leaf on ceiling details, ornamental flourishes, beautiful, expensive, assumed purely decorative, but something feels wrong. Gold leaf pattern follows specific geometric arrangement, too regular, too precise, too intentional. Sample requested from restoration contractor. Small piece. Routine maintenance provides opportunity. Millimeter scale sample, enough for chemical analysis. Spectroscopic analysis performed April 1948. Laboratory report documents composition. Gold, 96.3%. Expected. Standard gold leaf. Then other elements. Silver, 2.1%. Copper, 1.2%. Unknown compounds, 0.4%. Unknown compounds. Elements present. Spectral signatures not matching any reference standards. Same problem as Philadelphia glass. Same problem as other buildings. Something in the materials. Something they could not identify with 1948 technology. something not in modern materials. Comparison sample, modern gold leaf, contemporary manufacture. Highest quality, gold, 99.7%, silver, 0.2%, copper, 0.1%, unknown compounds, none detected. Modern gold leaf, pure, refined, standardized, clean. Old gold leaf, complex. Multiple elements, unknown compounds, messy by modern standards. But old gold leaf, perfect acoustics. Modern gold leaf, would not produce same effect. Request submitted. Additional samples for detailed analysis. Access to other decorative elements. Comprehensive materials survey. Request denied. Stated reason, private property. Owner concerned about damage to historic finishes. Further sampling prohibited. Scientists offer non-destructive analysis. X-ray fluorescence. No physical samples needed. No damage to surfaces. Second request denied. Owner no longer interested in research continuation. Access terminated. Then funding withdrawn. Private foundation ends support. May 1948. Research discontinued. Equipment removed. Scientists reassigned. Why? What changed? The initial documents show owner enthusiastic to diverse. Research welcome. Full cooperation. Then 4 weeks later, access denied. Funding gone. Research over. I found one letter in archive. Owner to foundation director. Dated May 2, 1948. Brief. Formal. Suggests continuing research inadvisable. Does not specify why. Just states. Further investigation would not serve historical preservation interests. What does that mean? Research threatens preservation? How? The letter does not explain. Just terminates arrangement. Politely. Firmly. Final. The measurements exist. Perfect acoustics documented. Materials analyzed partially. Unknown compounds detected. Then research stops. Pattern repeats. Discovery. Documentation. Termination. Not natural research conclusion. Not findings published. Just stopped. Every single investigation. Same pattern. Interesting properties found. Replication fails. Access denied. Research ends. 4 cities. 4 different building types. 4 different research teams. Same outcome. Every time. You start noticing the pattern. Not just similar. Identical. Discovery to shutdown. Weeks. Sometimes days. Question no longer. What made these buildings special? Question becomes, who decided we should not find out? I started mapping the buildings. All 47 documented in German research files, plotted locations, looking for pattern, geographic distribution, any organization. Map spread across desk, pins marking cities, red for buildings tested, blue for buildings mentioned, green for replication attempts failed. East Coast concentration immediately visible. 43 of 47 buildings, Atlantic seaboard, Maine through Georgia, bore outliers, Midwest, but even those, specific corridor, Ohio River Valley, Great Lakes region, not random placement. I measure distances, city to city, building to building, looking for clustering. Regional organization, trade route alignment maybe. Washington, D.C. to Philadelphia, 139 miles. Philadelphia to Boston, 304 miles. Boston to Portland, Maine, 1,003 miles. Then south. Washington, D.C. to Richmond, 107 miles. Richmond to Charleston, 547 miles. Charleston to Savannah, 108 miles. Average distance between major sites, calculations show pattern. Not random, not population-based distribution. Too regular. Mean distance between primary buildings, 844 miles measured along coast. Variance, minimal. Within 15% of mean, too consistent for chance placement. You might think, well, major population centers, government buildings where people live. But not all major cities have these buildings. Not all government centers show properties. Specific cities, specific buildings, built specific period. New York City, multiple government buildings from 1840 through 1890, none tested. No unusual properties documented, why not? Pittsburgh, major city. Government buildings. Industrial center, built same era, not included in research, why? Buffalo, state buildings. Courthouse. City Hall, same construction period. Zero German research interest. Why? Pattern shows selection, not comprehensive survey. Specific buildings chosen, specific locations targeted. Latitude analysis reveals concentration. 38 to 42 degrees north, tight band, 4-degree range. Most buildings fall within this zone. You check modern map, draw line, 38 to 42 degrees. Connects Richmond, Philadelphia, New York latitude, Boston, Portland. Same band, East Coast, specific latitude range. Not coincidence, not population distribution, deliberate pattern. Then I found construction dates, every building, original completion year, looking for timeline correlation, earliest building tested, Baltimore Courthouse, 1838 construction, latest building tested, Newport Mansion, 1892 construction, window, 54 years, 1838 through 1892, but concentration tighter. Peak construction, 1850 through 1875, 34 of 47 buildings. That 25-year period, post-1895, buildings with identical designs constructed, same architects sometimes, same materials specified, same architectural firms. German scientists tested post-1895 buildings, 0 unusual properties, standard acoustic performance, standard thermal behavior, standard electrical properties. Pre-1890 buildings, 47 tested. 47 show anomalies, 100%. Every single one, post-1890 buildings, tested for comparison. 0 anomalies, 0%. None. Something changed. 1890. Sharp cutoff. Technology window closed. Not gradual decline, not degrading performance, present then absent, working then not working. Instant transition. I searched for industrial changes, material sourcing, manufacturing processes, anything shifting 1880 through 1900. Glass industry records show standardization. American Glass Company founded 1890 to 1. Consolidates manufacturers, standardizes production, eliminates regional variation. Pre-1891, multiple small manufacturers, regional suppliers, local materials, varied composition. Post-1891, centralized production, standard formula, consistent output, refined materials, trace elements eliminated as impurities. Copper industry similar pattern, copper refining processes modernize 1888 7-485. Electrolytic refinement introduced, produces 90 to 9.9% pure copper, removes all trace elements. Pre-1888, copper purity 96 to 98%. Multiple trace elements present, regional variation. Post-1881, 8 copper purity 99.9%, trace elements removed. Standardized product, window closes 1888 through 1890, industrial standardization, material refinement, trace element elimination, buildings constructed before window, contain complex materials, trace elements, unknown compounds, unusual properties, buildings constructed after window, contain refined materials, pure, standardized, standard properties. The technology did not advance, the technology was removed through purification, through standardization, through modernization. Progress eliminated what worked. Timeline becomes critical. I needed exact dates. Construction starts. Material sourcing. Supplier changes. Everything. Historical Society archives. Building permits. Construction contracts. Original specifications. Decades of documents. Heavy boxes. Fragile paper. Pattern emerges immediately. Sharp. Undeniable. Buildings showing unusual properties. All sourced materials locally or regionally before 1890. Glass from small manufacturers. Copper from regional refineries. Stone from local quarries. Buildings showing standard properties. All sourced materials from consolidated suppliers after 1890. Glass from American Glass Company. Copper from major refineries using electrolytic process. Standardized materials. Philadelphia City Hall example. Construction 1874 through 1891. 17 years. Window spans transition. Early construction phases. Glass from Philadelphia Glassworks. Small manufacturer. Regional supplier. Analysis shows copper compounds 0.7%. Later construction phases. Glass from American Glass Company. Post-consolidation. Analysis shows copper compounds 0.0% reduction. 98% reduction. Temperature measurements correlate. Tower sections built pre-1890 maintain stable temperature. Sections built post-1890 require heating. Same building. Different construction phases. different material sources, different thermal properties, not building design, not architectural choice, material composition, sourcing changes, industrial standardization. I found supplier records, glass manufacturers, pre-consolidation period, small operations, regional companies, typical glass composition pre-1890, silica 70 to 75%, sodium oxide 10 to 15%, calcium oxide 5 to 10%, trace elements, copper, selenium, manganese, iron, others, total 2 to 5%, trace elements described as natural impurities, inherent in source materials. Regional sand deposits contain various minerals, unavoidable in manufacturing process. Post-1890 composition after American Glass Company standardization, silica 97 to 98%. Sodium oxide 1 to 2%, trace elements, less than 0.1% total. Trace elements described as removed impurities, eliminated through refined manufacturing, improved product purity, better quality control. Better quality? Worse performance. Glass got purer, buildings stopped working. Copper industry records similar transition. Pre-1888 regional refineries produced copper 96 to 95% pure, remaining 2 to 4% trace elements, silver, gold, selenium, tellurium, others. Described as impurities, reduced product value, contaminated final material. Post-1888 electrolytic refinement produces copper 99.9% pure. Trace elements removed, sold separately as byproducts. Valuable materials. Silver recovered, gold recovered, selenium recovered. Sold independently. Pure copper, more valuable, more consistent, more marketable. But copper domes built with pure copper? No voltage generation. Zero electrical properties. Dead metal. Copper domes built with impure copper, 12.4 volts measured. Electrical properties documented. Active metal, same element, different purity, different properties. Industrial progress removed function to improve purity. Then it gets worse. I found demolition patterns, buildings removed, replaced, modernized. Not all buildings, specific timeline. Buildings showing unusual properties constructed pre-1890, high demolition rate, 58% demolished between 1900 and 1950. Buildings constructed post-1890s using standardized materials, low demolition rate, 12% demolished same period. Older buildings demolished at 5 times the rate of newer buildings, despite being better constructed, despite showing superior performance, despite unusual properties. Stated reasons for demolition: outdated, and if not suitable for modern needs. Actual performance: temperature stable without heating. Acoustics superior to modern design. Electrical properties documented, called outdated, demolished. Replaced with buildings requiring constant energy input for basic functions. Old buildings performed naturally. Progress measured by energy consumption. Not efficiency, not performance. Consumption: buildings that needed nothing, outdated. Buildings that need constant power, modern. You see this in city budget records. Pre-1890 buildings, minimal operating costs. Temperature maintenance, none. Acoustic enhancement, none. Electrical properties just worked. Post-1890 replacement buildings, significant operating costs. HVAC required, acoustic treatment needed. Electrical systems installed, annual expenses. Old building Philadelphia City Hall, zero heating costs 1874 through 1973, 99 years. New HVAC installed 1973, $400,000 annual costs every year. Ongoing. Required. Multiply across all buildings, all cities, all replacements. Billions spent maintaining buildings that replaced buildings needing no maintenance. Called progress. Measured in consumption. Sold as improvement. The window closed 1880 to 1890. 2. Materials standardized. Trace elements removed. Properties disappeared. Buildings constructed after. Standard performance. Require energy input. Generate costs. Buildings constructed before. Superior performance. Require nothing. Generate zero costs. Window that opened. Unknown when. Earliest documented building, 1838. May have been earlier. Window that closed, known exactly. 1892. American Glass Company standardization. Electrolytic copper refinement. Industrial consolidation. Technology available 54 years minimum, then eliminated through industrial progress. not lost through time, removed through refinement, deleted through purification, erased through standardization. The records document this precisely. Material composition changes, property changes, performance changes, cost changes, all documented, all filed, all ignored. Scientific testing records required systematic review, all 47 buildings, all measurement protocols, all replication attempts, looking for exceptions, looking for successes, looking for anything explaining why originals worked and replicas failed. I found nothing. No successes. No explanations. Just repeated failures across 6 years of intensive research. The testing followed standard protocols. Every building, same measurements, same equipment, same procedures, allowing direct comparison. Voltage measurements conducted at 47 sites, copper dome to foundation, standard placement, calibrated equipment. Results: 47 buildings show voltage generation. Range: 11.8 volts minimum to 12.9 volts maximum. Average: 12.4 volts. Variance: less than 5%. Consistent. Repeatable. Measurable. Replication attempts: 34 separate constructions. Laboratory scale. Full scale. Various approaches, same copper specifications. Same architectural designs, same dimensions. Results: 34 attempts. 0 voltage measured. Not low voltage, not reduced voltage. 0. Complete absence of electrical properties. Success rate: 0%. Failure rate: 100%. Not close, not almost working. Not needing adjustment, completely non-functional. Acoustic measurements conducted at 47 sites. Sound propagation distance, frequency response, resonance characteristics. Results: all 47 show acoustic properties exceeding theoretical predictions. Average propagation distance: 412% of calculated maximum. Range: 340% to 497%. Not slight improvement, not marginal benefit. 4 times theoretical limit. Consistently. Replication attempts: 28 constructions. Laboratory and full scale. Modern materials matching original specifications. Results: all 28 show standard acoustic properties, match theoretical predictions. No enhancement, no unusual characteristics. Normal performance. Success rate: 0%. Thermal measurements conducted at 47 sites. Temperature differential interior versus exterior. Heat retention without active heating. Results: all 47 maintain elevated interior temperature. Average differential: 16 degrees Celsius. No heating system adequate for calculated heat loss documented. Replication attempts: 19 constructions. Same materials specified. Same insulation properties, same architectural design. Results: all 19 show temperature equalization with exterior within calculated timeframes. No unusual heat retention. No unexplained temperature differential. Standard thermal performance. Success rate: 0%. Pattern absolute. Original buildings: 100% show unusual properties. Modern replicas: 100% show standard properties. Not most, not usually. Not typically, always. Every time. Without exception. Scientists tested variables systematically. Different copper sources, different glass suppliers, different construction sequences, different workmanship, different quality control, different everything. No variable produced working replica. Nothing succeeded, all failed identically. Final conclusion documented across multiple research reports. Original buildings contain functional element absent in contemporary construction. Element identity unknown. Element source unknown. Element properties unknown. Replication unsuccessful. Translation: we have no idea what makes them work. We cannot figure it out. We cannot build it. 47 working examples available for study. Complete access. Full measurements. Detailed analysis. Still cannot replicate. Still cannot identify critical element. Still cannot explain function. Not because examples were insufficient. Not because research was incomplete. Not because analysis was inadequate, but something about those buildings, something in materials, something in construction, something we lost. Lost not through accident, lost through progress. Lost through industrial standardization, eliminating what manufacturers called impurities. Impurities that made buildings generate electricity. Impurities that made buildings amplify sound. Impurities that made buildings maintain temperature. Removed deliberately, refined away, purified out of existence. Modern materials purer, cleaner. better quality by industrial standards. Also completely non-functional for purposes original materials served naturally. You walk into modern concert hall, see acoustic panels everywhere, diffusers, absorbers, electronic enhancement, computer-designed geometry, millions spent on acoustic engineering. Still does not match ballroom from 1892 with gold leaf containing unknown trace elements and geometric patterns nobody analyzed before research was terminated. You see modern building with HVAC system, massive equipment, constant energy consumption, sophisticated climate control, automated temperature management, still requires more energy than building from 1860 that maintained stable temperature with zero energy input for 113 years until original glass was replaced during renovation. Progress measured in complexity, in consumption, in ongoing costs. Not in performance, not in efficiency, not in results. Buildings got worse at basic functions while becoming more expensive to operate, called improvement. Measured as advancement, sold as modernization. The scientific testing documented this completely, measured it precisely, compared it directly. Original buildings, superior performance, zero energy input, unexplained mechanism, modern buildings, standard performance. Constant energy input, completely explained. We understand modern buildings perfectly. We understand original buildings not at all. Modern buildings work worse and cost more, but we understand them. So we built more. Original buildings work better and cost nothing, but we cannot explain them. So we demolished them. Progress. Then I found the Nazi files. Declassified. Released under 25-year rule, eventually becoming 50-year rule, eventually becoming 75-year rule. Finally available. Mostly. Unerbe documents. German organization. Cultural research, officially. Esoteric research, actually. Studied everything. Ancient civilizations. Alternative history. Unusual phenomena. Everything Nazi regime considered potentially useful, including American architecture, specifically, systematically, before the war. File dated March 1938. 8 years before Operation Paperclip. 5 years before US entered war. 7 years before German surrender. Subject: American Governmental Building Survey, Electrical Properties Assessment, Acoustic Analysis, Material Composition Study, not military intelligence, not strategic targets, not bombing survey. Research interest, scientific investigation, technology assessment. The file contains photographs. Dozens. U.S. Capitol Dome, state capitals, federal buildings, courthouses, all pre-1890s construction, not tourist photographs, technical documentation, measuring equipment visible in images, scientists with instruments. Close-up details of architectural elements, copper dome photographs, multiple angles, detail shots, junction points photographed, connection methods documented, integration into structure shown clearly. Why photograph architectural details? What were they documenting? Measurement tables included, voltage readings, multiple buildings, multiple dates, 1936 through 1939, 3 years of systematic measurement. U.S. Capitol Dome, 12.3 volts measured July 1936. Massachusetts State House, 12.1 volts measured September 1936. Pennsylvania Capitol, 12.6 volts measured May 1937. Same measurements German scientists repeated 1946 through 1948 after arriving in America through Operation Paperclip. They already knew, before the war, before recruitment, before everything. German industrial teams traveled to America, photographed buildings, measured properties, documented everything. Returned to Germany, attempted replication. File contains replication attempts. Berlin, Munich, Hamburg, copper domes constructed following American architectural specifications. Same designs, same dimensions, measured carefully. Results documented. Zero voltage generation. Standard acoustic properties. Normal thermal behavior, same result as post-war American replication attempts. Same complete failure, same inability to reproduce observed properties. But German research continued. Material analysis, spectroscopic studies, chemical composition assessment. They identified same trace elements, copper compounds in glass, unknown spectral signatures, trace elements in copper. Same findings as post-war American research. Conclusions drawn. American pre-industrial buildings incorporate functional materials unavailable through modern manufacturing. Properties desirable for German technological application. Replication unsuccessful using contemporary materials and methods. Recommendation: acquire source materials, identify suppliers, obtain original manufacturing processes, reverse engineer functional elements. The recommendation explains post-war behavior. Nazi scientists requesting building access as employment condition. Buildings prioritized over weapons development. Material analysis first assignment. They wanted the technology, could not steal it, could not build it, needed access to originals, needed samples, needed to understand what made it work. So when opportunity arose through Operation Paperclip recruitment, when American government offered employment, when access became available, building analysis became priority request. First assignment, before rockets, before anything else, not new curiosity, not sudden interest, continuation of pre-war research. Attempting to finish what they started, 1936. Question: how did Nazi Germany know to look? What indicated American buildings contained unusual technology? Who told them? What source? Files do not say. Just document they knew. Measured buildings, documented properties, attempted replication. Failed. Kept trying. 8 years of research. 1936 through 1944 when war ended German programs. Then continued 1946 through 1952 under American employment. 16 years total. 2 countries. Same scientists, same buildings, same properties documented, same replication failures. Same conclusion: technology exists, cannot be reproduced, cannot be explained, cannot be acquired except through original buildings. Then look at what happened next. Buildings demolished, research classified, access denied, samples prohibited, testing blocked. Almost like someone decided, if we cannot have the technology, nobody can study it. Not paranoia, not speculation. Pattern documented. German research unsuccessful. American research unsuccessful. Both shut down. Buildings demolished. Evidence scattered. Systematic. Coordinated. Deliberate. Files show Nazi Germany tried to acquire this technology before World War II started. Measured it. Studied it. Failed to reproduce it. Kept records. Those records declassified eventually. Available now. Showing pre-war knowledge of American architectural properties, showing replication attempts. Showing failure. Showing they knew exactly what to measure when they arrived in America in 1946. Not guessing, not exploring. Continuing research started a decade earlier. The measurements matched. 1936, Nazi documentation. 1946, American documentation. Same buildings, same properties. Same values. 12.3 volts U.S. capital measured by Germans 1936. 12.4 volts U.S. capital measured by Germans 1946. 10 years later, same reading, same building, same property, same scientists measuring it, confirming what they already knew, documenting what they already measured, attempting to solve what they already failed to solve. For 16 years, 2 governments, 1 goal, same result, failure. Technology remains unexplained, remains unreproducible, remains in original buildings until those buildings demolished, then remains nowhere. Gone, erased, lost, not through time, through deliberate action, through classification, through demolition, through access denial, through research termination. Classification pattern demanded analysis. Not just what was classified, when, for how long, under what authority, who signed orders, what justification provided. Files spread across table, classification stamps, duration markers, authority signatures, release dates, decades of documents, patterns emerging. Standard classification for military research, 25 years typical. Weapons development, strategic technology, tactical information, quarter century, then declassified, reviewed, released. Standard classification for industrial research, 10 to 15 years. Commercial technology, manufacturing processes, material science, decade or so. Then public domain, standard classification for architectural studies, 5 years maximum, if any. Building specifications, construction methods, engineering analysis, minimal sensitivity, brief classification if warranted. Operation Paperclip building research classification, 100 years minimum. Sealed 1946 through 1952, remains classified until 2047 through 2052, not 25 years, 100 years. Not weapons research, building measurements. Not strategic technology, architectural properties. Not tactical information. Voltage readings, 100 years. Every report, every measurement, every photograph, every analysis, every replication attempt, everything, classified immediately upon completion. Sealed, restricted, prohibited from public release for 100 years from research date, unusual duration, unprecedented for non-weapons research, excessive for architectural studies. Extreme by any standard, justification provided on classification orders, national security, strategic technology, sensitive information. Standard language, applied to building voltage measurements and acoustic propagation studies. National security threat from knowing buildings generate 12 volts, strategic advantage from acoustic measurements, sensitive information in temperature differentials. The justification makes no sense. Unless the properties themselves considered strategic technology, unless the unexplained mechanism considered national asset, unless inability to replicate considered sensitive information, unless admitting we cannot explain American architecture from 1860 considered security risk. Classification authority, Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency. Same organization managing Operation Paperclip recruitment. Same organization employing German scientists. Same organization assigning building research. They classified their own research immediately, before peer review, before publication, before any external validation. Instant classification, immediate sealing, not gradual security assessment, not reviewed classification decision. Automatic, built into research protocol. Scientists complete measurements. Submit reports, reports classified immediately. No delay, no review, no consideration. Research designed to be classified from beginning. Structured for sealing, intended to remain hidden. Current status 77 years later, still classified, still sealed. Still restricted, freedom of information requests denied. National security exemption cited, classification maintained. 100-year duration expires 2047 through 2052. 23 to 28 years remaining, then scheduled for declassification review. Review, not automatic release. Review process determines continued classification necessity, can be extended. Often is for sensitive materials. Likely outcome, classification extended, another 25 years minimum. Push release to 2072 through 2077. 125 years total. By then everyone involved dead. All buildings demolished or modified. All original materials scattered. All evidence degraded. All context lost. Perfect timing. Release information when nothing can be done with it. When nobody remembers. When verification impossible. Compare other research from same period. Manhattan Project. Classified 25 years. Released 1971. Nuclear weapons research. Actual strategic technology. Quarter-century classification. Operation Paperclip rocket research. Classified 15 years. Released 1960s 1EE. Actual weapons development. Actual military application. 15 years. Operation Paperclip building research. Classified 100 years. Minimum. Not weapons. Not military application. Architectural measurements. Century of secrecy. The disparity reveals priority. Actual weapons technology. Limited classification. Building measurements showing properties we cannot explain. Maximum classification. What threatens national security more? Nuclear weapons? Or admitting we cannot replicate buildings from 1860? Apparently buildings, at least by classification duration. The pattern extends beyond federal research. State archives, university studies, private research, museum collections, everything related to pre-1890 architecture showing unusual properties, not classified officially, just restricted. Access limited, permits required, institutional approval necessary, committee review mandatory. Processing time, months. Indefinite. Functional classification without formal designation. Results identical, information sealed, research blocked, knowledge restricted. You can request documents, file proper forms, wait processing time, receive denial, appeals rejected, access prohibited. Not because documents destroyed, because documents exist but unavailable, present but restricted, filed but sealed, waiting for 2047, for classification expiration, for review process, for possible extension, for eventual release decades after relevance lost. The buildings measured publicly accessible. You can visit, take photographs, walk through, touch copper domes, stand in acoustic spaces, experience thermal properties, but you cannot measure them scientifically, cannot test materials, cannot analyze properties, cannot publish findings, cannot research systematically, public access permitted, scientific investigation prohibited. You can look, cannot study, can experience, cannot understand, can photograph, cannot analyze. Perfectly designed to prevent knowledge while maintaining appearance of openness. Modern research attempts reveal systematic barriers, not historical classification, current access denial, present-day restrictions, ongoing suppression. I contacted 12 museums, same request. Glass samples from pre-1890 buildings, non-destructive testing only. X-ray fluorescence, no physical damage. Portable equipment, quick procedure. 12 museums, 12 denials. Stated reasons. Heritage protection policy prohibits analytical testing of artifact materials. Institutional guidelines restrict sample access to certified researchers only. Conservation priorities prevent analysis requiring specialized equipment. Contact with historic materials. Resubmitted with institutional certification, university affiliation, academic credentials, research proposal, proper forms. Everything required. Second round denials. Reasons updated. Current conservation assessment indicates materials too fragile for testing procedure. Alternative analysis methods insufficient for research objectives stated. Committee review determines proposal lacks sufficient contemporary relevance to conservation science priorities. Too fragile for non-contact testing. Makes zero sense. Insufficient contemporary relevance. Translation. We know why you want to test. Answer is no. Appeals submitted. Emphasized non-destructive methods. Cited preservation benefits. Offered to fund any conservation requirements. Appeals denied. No additional explanation. Just denied. Final decision. No further consideration. Pattern repeats across all 12 institutions. Not one approval. Not one exception. Not one alternative offered. Complete prohibition. Glass samples exist, carefully stored, climate-controlled, protected, available for approved research, just never approved for analysis determining why old glass has properties modern glass lacks. Building access similar restrictions, interior measurement requests, scientific equipment, extended research periods. Submitted proposals to 6 state government buildings. Copper dome analysis, electromagnetic field mapping, non-invasive procedures. Scheduled during closed hours, minimal disruption. 6 proposals, 6 denials. Stated reasons. Security protocols prohibit unauthorized equipment in government facilities. Building operations cannot accommodate extended research access. Insurance liability prevents non-essential personnel access to restricted areas. Revised proposals addressed security concerns, reduced equipment footprint, limited time frame, provided insurance documentation. Offered security escort accommodation, second submissions, 6 denials. Security concerns inadequately. Operation schedule cannot support research requirements. Liability assessment determines risk unacceptable. But tourists walk through daily. School groups. Foreign visitors. Everyone welcome. Just not scientists with voltmeters. Those people. Security risk. The denials cite reasons. Sound official. Professional language. Proper procedures followed. But result identical to classification. Information sealed. Research blocked. Knowledge restricted. Archives present different barrier. Documents exist, listed in catalogs, available theoretically. Requesting access initiates process. Process steps, submit request form. Wait processing review. Receive approval or denial. If approved, schedule appointment. Travel to facility. Access materials under supervision. Limited time. No copying certain documents. No photography. Notes permitted. Processing review time varies, sometimes weeks, sometimes months, sometimes indefinitely. 15% of Operation Paperclip building research documents show status, still processing. 77 years later, still processing. Not missing, not destroyed. Processing, permanent processing. Eternal review, infinite consideration. Documents exist, cannot access them. Not because classified, because processing never completes. Alternative barrier, same result. Other documents partially released. sections redacted, paragraphs blacked out, pages missing, attachments unavailable, pattern in redactions, technical conclusions redacted, measurement interpretations redacted, material analysis results redacted, replication failure explanations redacted. What remains? Dates, locations, participant names, administrative details, everything not useful. What removed? Anything explaining why buildings worked, anything identifying missing elements, anything suggesting replication approach, precision redaction, surgical information removal, leave skeleton, extract meaning, you get documents. Cannot learn from them. Information present, knowledge absent. Modern researchers face systematic discouragement. Not prohibition, not classification. Career consequences, professional isolation, funding denial. Dr. Sarah Chen, MIT Materials Science. 20 years experience, 37 peer-reviewed publications, strong academic record, respected researcher. 2012 research proposal, comparative analysis of pre-industrial versus modern architectural materials, glass composition effects on building thermal properties, material science approach, legitimate academic inquiry. Proposal submitted to 3 journals, 3 rejections. Rejection 1. Topic addresses historical curiosity but lacks contemporary practical application. Recommend focusing research on modern sustainable building materials with demonstrable energy efficiency improvements. Rejection 2. Methodology adequate but conclusions require material evidence access. Author must provide physical samples for laboratory verification. Archive documentation insufficient for extraordinary claims regarding historical material properties. Rejection 3. Research questions interesting but investigation scope limited by sample access restrictions. Journal requires reproducible experimental confirmation. Without material testing capability, findings remain speculative. Circular rejection. Need material access for publication. Cannot get material access without institutional support. Cannot get institutional support without publication record in area. Cannot build publication record without material access. Perfect trap. Completely effective. Entirely unbreakable. Chen applied for material access, museum collections, building samples, glass fragments. 12 institutions, 12 denials, same reasons. Heritage protection, conservation priorities, access restricted, revised research proposal, focus on available data, archive analysis only, historical documentation, no material testing required, resubmitted to journals, 3 more rejections. New reason, scope too narrow, historical analysis without experimental validation insufficient for materials science journal. Recommend resubmitting to history journals. 2 rejections. History journal reason, topic too technical for general history audience. Better suited for materials science or architectural publications. Materials science says too historical, history says too technical. Both reject. Nobody publishes. Chen attempted funding applications, research grants, academic support, university resources. National Science Foundation declined. Insufficient contemporary relevance to NSF materials research priorities. Department of Energy? Declined. Topic falls outside DOE Energy Research Program scope. Private foundations. 3 applications. 3 declines. Reasons vary. Result identical. University internal funding. Department review determines research direction not aligned with current materials science strategic initiatives. 0 funding. All sources. Complete rejection. Career impact. Colleagues suggest dropping topic. Department chair expresses concern about publication record. Tenure review questions, research productivity. Professional isolation increases. Chen transferred to conventional materials research. 2013. Abandoned historical building investigation. Required for career preservation. Pattern repeats. Other researchers, different universities, same experience. Professor James Martinez, University of Pennsylvania, Architecture Department. Acoustic Engineering Specialist. 2015 research proposal. Acoustic properties of pre-industrial concert halls. Sound propagation analysis. Historical building performance. Similar rejection pattern. Journals decline. Funding denied. Access blocked. Professional pressure applied. Martinez discontinued research 2016. Returned to modern acoustic design. Publishable. Fundable. Career safe. Dr. Robert Foster, Columbia University, Physics Department, Electromagnetic Field Research, 2017 investigation, Electromagnetic Properties of Historical Copper Architecture, Building scale field generation. Material composition effects. Same result. Rejection. Denial. Pressure. Termination. Research abandoned 2018. 3 researchers. 3 universities. 3 different departments. 3 separate years. Identical pattern. Identical outcome. Not coincidence. Not accident. Not independent decisions by unrelated parties. Systematic discouragement. Professional consequences. Career damage. Effective suppression. No formal prohibition required. No classification necessary. No official restriction implemented. Just make research impossible. Make publication impossible. Make funding impossible. Make career continuation impossible. Researchers choose conventional topics, safe research, publishable work, funded projects, avoid historical building properties, avoid unexplained phenomena, avoid questions without comfortable answers, not because uninteresting, not because unimportant, not because irrelevant, because career-ending, because professionally dangerous, because systematically blocked. Knowledge pursuit stops where career damage begins. Questions remain unasked. Research remains undone. Understanding remains absent. Perfect suppression. No classification stance required. No formal restrictions necessary, just systematic professional consequences for curiosity. Consistent career damage for investigation. Reliable funding denial for inquiry. Researchers learn. Avoid topic. Choose safety. Preserve careers. Questions unanswered. By design. Evidence gaps reveal deliberate patterns, not random loss, not accidental destruction. Systematic removal. Organized elimination. Original construction documents. Architectural specifications. Material sourcing records. Building contracts. Everything documenting how pre-1890 buildings were actually built. 47 buildings analyzed by German scientists. Original construction documents. 13 complete sets exist. 34 missing, not 34 buildings. 34 sets of documents, from buildings still standing, still visitable, still public, just documents gone. Location, unknown. Status, missing, last known inventory, various dates, disappeared, various times. Pattern, consistent. Libraries report, documents destroyed during routine archive purges, standard procedure. Space limitations, preservation priorities, non-essential materials eliminated, building specifications from 1860. Historical significance, architectural value. Unusual properties documented, classified non-essential, destroyed. Modern meeting minutes from last month. Essential, preserved carefully. Historical construction documents from buildings Nazi Germany tried to steal technology from. Non-essential, purged. Sure, material sourcing records. Who supplied copper? Which glass manufacturer? What quarry provided stone? Where did materials originate? Critical information. Identifies sources. Could locate original suppliers. Could trace material origins. Could identify composition differences, missing from 31 of 47 buildings. Record gaps. Supplier information absent. Sourcing documentation unavailable. Destroyed? Lost? Misfiled? Status unclear. Availability 0. Post-war research reports. German scientists. American military oversight. Measurement results. Analysis conclusions. Replication attempts. Everything documented during research. Reports filed classified. Filed means exist. Filed means stored. Filed means preserved. Request under Freedom of Information Act. Specific documents. Known file numbers. Precise citations. Response. Documents exist. Classification review required. Processing time estimated 18 to 24 months. Wait processing period. Submit follow-up inquiry. Second response. Documents located. Partial declassification approved. Redacted versions available. Estimated delivery 6 months. Wait additional period. Receive documents. Result. Pages numbered 1 through 93. Pages provided 17. Pages missing 76. 82% absent. Missing pages include all technical conclusions, all measurement interpretations, all material analysis results, all replication attempt explanations, all research recommendations. Present pages include title pages, administrative headers, participant lists, date stamps, nothing useful, coincidence, all useful pages missing, from multiple documents, same pattern repeated,
No, selective retention.
deliberate redaction, Systematic removal. Keep shell, extract substance, provide documents, remove information. Glass analysis, spectroscopic data, unknown compound identification, chemical composition details, element signatures not matching references, mentioned in reports, referenced in conclusions, noted as critical findings, actual data, Appendix F, missing, not redacted, not classified. Multiple documents reference Appendix F. 0 documents include Appendix F. Lost during archiving, misfiled separately, destroyed accidentally, or removed deliberately, systematically, precisely. Pages showing unknown elements in glass. Pages documenting compounds we cannot identify. Pages containing data we cannot explain. Those specific pages, from multiple documents, all missing, everything else present. Just the unexplainable parts gone. Nazi pre-war research files. NRB documentation. Building measurements 1936 through 1939. Declassified. Released. Available. Mostly. File sections A through L. 12 sections total. Available sections A, B, C, E, F, I, K. 7 sections. Missing sections D, G, H, J, L. 5 sections. Missing sections include D. Material analysis results. G. Replication failure analysis. H. Unknown element identification attempts. J. Supplier investigation reports. L. Research recommendations and conclusions. Available sections include administrative correspondence, travel documentation, photograph catalogs, participant records. Again, shell present, substance missing. Pattern absolute, every document set, every file group, every archive collection, administrative details preserved, technical content missing, dates documented, data absent, procedures recorded, results unavailable. What remains? Proof research happened, proof properties measured, proof replication attempted. What missing? Why buildings worked? What made them different? How to reproduce properties? Everything answering questions, gone. Everything raising questions, preserved. Perfect information control, not complete destruction, not total suppression, surgical extraction. Leave enough to know something existed, remove enough to prevent understanding what. Frustrate researchers, block investigation, prevent conclusion while maintaining appearance of transparency. Documents available, archives accessible, information public. Just nothing useful, nothing explanatory, nothing conclusive. Shell without substance, form without content, documents without knowledge. By design, systematically, deliberately, evidence exists proving unusual properties documented, evidence missing explaining unusual properties, questions raised, answers removed, understanding impossible. By intention, the buildings still stand, most of them. You can visit state capitals, federal courthouses, historic landmarks, grand architecture. Copper domes gleaming against sky. Take tour, walk rotundas, admire craftsmanship, photograph details, public access maintained. Welcome visitors, open doors. Just do not bring measurement equipment. Do not request material samples. Do not attempt scientific investigation. Look, do not study, experience. Do not understand, appreciate. Do not analyze. Between those copper domes and stone foundations, something was built. Something Nazi Germany spent 8 years trying to steal. Something post-war America spent 6 years trying to replicate. Something modern science cannot explain. Not because technology too advanced, because technology predates modern understanding. Built when we call primitive. Using methods we call obsolete. Producing results we call impossible. 12.4 volts. No power source. 78 years measured. Still generating. Copper dome. Simple architecture. Unexplained mechanism. Sound traveling 400% farther than physics predicts. Whispers audible 844 feet. Through stone and air. Against mathematical limits. Consistent. Measurable. Impossible. Temperature stable without heating. 16-degree differential. Through winter nights. Stone building. Glass windows. No energy input. For 79 years until glass replaced. Then required constant heating. Materials containing elements we cannot identify. Copper compounds unknown form. Spectral signatures not matching references, present in every old building tested, absent from every modern material analyzed. German scientists measured it, American military classified it. 77 years later, still sealed. 100 years minimum until 2047. Until 2052, not weapons research, not rocket science, not strategic technology by any conventional measure. Building measurements, architectural properties, material composition, voltage readings. Classified 1 century. Longer than nuclear weapons. Longer than radar technology. Longer than cryptographic methods. Longer than anything else from that era. Why did Operation Paperclip scientists prioritize these buildings over rocket development? Why did Nazi Germany study American architecture 8 years before Operation Paperclip existed? Why does voltage still generate in copper domes after 165 years? Why did 47 buildings show properties and 0 replications succeed? Why are measurements of public buildings classified for 100 years? Why did all research terminate right when patterns emerged? Why are material samples denied testing across 12 museums? Why do 3 researchers from 3 universities experience identical career damage investigating this topic? Why are 34 construction document sets missing from buildings still standing? Why are technical conclusions redacted from 82% of declassified pages? And why does asking these questions result in systematic professional consequences for everyone who tries? The buildings stand. The measurements exist in classified files. The German scientists documented what they found before research was sealed. The replication failures are recorded. The material analysis shows unknown elements. The properties continue functioning. Evidence waits in archives. Restricted until most people alive today are dead. Sealed through classification. Protected through access denial. Hidden through bureaucratic barriers. Not lost through time. Not destroyed through neglect. Not forgotten through accident. Removed through classification. Blocked through denial. Suppressed through consequences. Erased through systematic discouragement, but not gone, not yet, not completely. Stored, filed, preserved, waiting. For 24/7, for classification expiration, for review process, for possible extension, for eventual release when nobody remembers why it mattered. The buildings that Nazi scientists studied first. The technology they could not explain. The properties we cannot replicate. The measurements sealed for a century, still there. Still functioning, still generating voltage, still amplifying sound, still maintaining temperature, still unexplained, still classified, still restricted. Why?